My best advice to those looking for a new smartphone is to buy last year's model. Doesn't matter which make or whether it's an iOS or Android phone. I think this is the first year in a very long time where actually the predecessors might make more sense than the supposed best of the best right now. And it's not just because they're cheaper, though that does play a big part of it, of course. So let's talk about why last year's models just make more sense right now. So I'm not saying that the latest flagship smartphones aren't good, because they objectively are very good devices, but they aren't massive upgrades over last year's phones in my opinion, unless the physical shape is something you're really passionate about and you do like flat sides on your phone. Also, if you could subscribe and like, that would really mean a lot to me. We're trying to hit 150k by the end of the year. Cheers guys. Though what I'm saying will go for practically any phone on the market, I'm specifically referencing the Pixel 8 series, the Galaxy S24 series, the iPhone 15 series, and the OnePlus 12 series. I think pretty much all of these phones last year were really good, and actually with regards to the S24 series, I think you can get away with the predecessor to that, the S23 series, and that Ultra in particular. I've spoken about that phone at length on both this channel and Android Police as well. It's an insane package for the money and on the used market. Last year's models can be had super cheap depending on the device and if you're comfortable buying used. I personally use eBay all the time for buying and selling. Most of the phones that I show off on this channel I've bought and sold on eBay. Most of the stuff I own is from eBay. Their buyer protection is elite and I'm not sponsored. iPhones tend to hold their value really well, so finding a good deal on a 15 series might be quite tricky compared to the Pixels that hold their value, well, for about 5 minutes if I'm totally honest. For instance, you can get a good condition Pixel 8 Pro for less than £400, which is crazy when you think that the 9 Pro is only, well, slightly better, mostly the screen brightness and the shape, and costs over double that. The S24 Ultra is really solid. It's a fantastic deal in the used market, dropping in value more so than the iPhone 15 series across the board, and you get the likes of the S Pen and DeX, which are exclusive features that I know not everyone will use, but some will get a massive use out of them. The thing is that this year's flagships, well, they haven't majorly evolved over last year's models. There's usually sort of a tick-tock cycle of upgrades where you get a big jump and then more refinements and so on between models. We're certainly not making the same level of progress from a hardware perspective that we were a few years ago, and that there's definitely a plateau here. I've always been more of a hardware focused person anyway. If you've watched this channel before, you'll know that. The Snapdragon 8 Elite is an absolute monster this year. The performance, the battery life, just fantastic. But the 8 Gen 3 was also very good, and it's stuff like the cameras and the battery life tech where I'm sorely missing the days of generational leaps every couple of years. Also, if you happen to be like me and just detest flat sides on big smartphones, then you'll like last year's models as well. Let's start with the obvious one, the OnePlus 12. It's my favourite, it's elite. I know most people hate the curved screens and you know what, that's fine, but the battery life, the performance, the cameras, absolutely unreal. I'd say better than the OnePlus 13 for the money, especially as it's a lot cheaper now. And of course it came with the mega fast and convenient 100-watt charger in the box in all regions, all for a discount if you're willing to buy second hand. And it is one of the best used phones you can buy. I'm just going to die on that hill. I still use mine daily and will probably continue to do so until I can't, or by some magic someone comes up with a better smartphone. But nothing is quite doing it for me right now like the OnePlus 12, so that's what I'm sticking with. The Pixel 8 Pro, this one, basically just a bigger Pixel 9 Pro. The charging speed, the storage type, the cameras, overall performance really, battery life, it's really not that different from the brand new smartphone, and I actually do prefer the colours and the shape of this thing. Probably the main upsides to the newer model are the smaller size, because if you're going to get the Pro you have to get the big one of the 8. Also, the new one has a really, really bright display, even brighter than this. The ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner is also better than the optical one here. And if you take loads of selfies, the selfie camera in the Pixel 9 Pro is just way better than this, but I've never really had a complaint about the 8 Pro selfie camera, so I wouldn't worry massively. And this one is super cheap, even new in box. If you don't care about the Pro features, the 8 is also phenomenal. I know several people who bought those when they're on crazy carrier deals here in the UK, so I know more people with a base model Pixel 8 than I do who have any other kind of smartphone. It's kind of mad. And because those are Pixels, you'll still have software support for, well, going into the next decade, which is crazy. The S24 Ultra is another obvious choice because of how well-rounded it is. Samsung is offering a lot of software support for this thing, and the phone itself is an absolute beast, even if I never really found it a considerable upgrade over the S23 Ultra. It has the flat front panel, which I think a lot of people seem to like, and it also has the very impressive anti-glare coating. I think quite a few people overlook. It's really cool how they managed to do that. It feels like a way more viewable display than other smartphone screens. There's good battery life, the excellent performance, Galaxy AI stuff if you're into AI, and the Ultra tends to stay quite quick because of the more recent ones being Snapdragon phones and not Exynos ones that we used to get in Europe back in the day. The iPhone might be the most obvious of the four that I'm talking about today, though because iPhones hold their value so incredibly well, finding a good deal on even a used 15 or 15 Pro is going to be quite tricky. In the US, I do believe there are good trade-ins, but here in the UK, we don't tend to get blessed with the same kind of trade-ins. And aside from that woeful camera control feature on the 16 Pro Max, I'm not seeing a clear-cut reason to go for the newer model, to be totally honest. I mean, they are just so incredibly similar. It was hard to tell them apart when I had my 16 Pro Max in that I ordered from work, and then had my 15 Pro Max, which I had to trade in. For the couple of days that they overlapped and I had both in the office, I was constantly picking up the wrong one. I mean, they are just basically the same phone. Models like last year's Honor Magic, Sony Xperia 1, ROG phone, I'm sure also other models, they will make more sense as well. But since my time with those phones is just basically zero, and my time with stuff like the Pixel 8 Pro is, well, since it came out, I feel like I'm more qualified to talk about these phones than the ones that I haven't gone into detail on. And actually, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions on this. Let me know which phone you bought. Did you buy last year's model? And let us know if I haven't mentioned it in this video as well. Just let the community know and we can all, well, work out which are the best models to buy. Because I'm certainly not dropping 4 figures on a brand new smartphone right now. This year's phones have made bigger progress in software than in hardware, with AI suites taking over as the headline features, somewhat allowing the internals to take a back seat. And you know what, that might not be the worst thing in the world. People seem to love AI as much as that absolutely pains me. But I'm not everyone. I'm not people going and buying a brand new smartphone every year, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I still thoroughly enjoy using my OnePlus 12. It's such a wonderful device that still hangs with the best of them. It has one of my favourite smartphone cameras ever bolted to the back of it. Even though I've had the latest flagships in my possession since the OnePlus 12 came out, I've stuck with the 12, and that's big praise. Whether it's due to the plateau and stagnation that I've mentioned countless times over the past couple of years, or the fact that last year's models were phenomenal, buying last year's model makes more sense now than it ever really has done. And I'm not sure whether that's fantastic news for everyone's wallets or bad news for smartphone innovation.